Hey, Fierce Feminines. As you can see from the title, today we're going to be talking about why being selfish as a woman is important for your family. Before we get into it, I want to share with you that I have got tea tree and lavender on the oil burner today. And also, I want you to take a moment to check in with your emotions. How are you feeling right now? Can you identify the emotion? And if it's a positive emotion, yay. How can we keep it going? If it's a negative emotion, what's the root cause and what can you do about it? So, as I was saying, on today's episode, we are focusing on why being selfish as a woman in particular is important. And what inspired me to talk about this episode is, guys, I'm actually quite fortunate that I happen to be surrounded by lots of amazing women, women who were colleagues that have now turned friends, my super close friends I've known from secondary school, and my family. Like, I am surrounded with really amazing women. But one thing I have noticed with these people, guys, I'm talking about you now, if you're in my close circle, no, I'm referencing you. But jokes aside, I do have to say, I started to notice a theme with the women around me in the sense that they are like the number one supporter of those around them. They are your number one cheerleader. They're there for you. They are that friend in need. They're that friend you can call when you're struggling. They are the friend who is very caring and give their family and friends a lot of attention and care. But when it comes to investing in themselves, when it comes to achieving their own goals, their dreams, when it comes to prioritizing themselves, they're like, oh, don't know about that because that feels selfish. And don't get me wrong, like the women around me, I think I already said it, but they are very ambitious and they have got to a certain time in their life where they have achieved quite a bit. Like there's been a lot of accomplishments, but I do notice that there is a tendency for these great women to put others first, put the needs of others before their needs. And I'm like, you know what? We need to have a conversation about this. I'm all about looking after family and friends. I'm all about supporting family and friends, but you need to be supporting yourself. You need to be your own cheerleader. You need to be able to say, I can set this boundary. I can look after myself, and it's okay for me to prioritize my need and look after myself. It's okay for me to have some me time instead of just constantly giving others and not giving to yourself. And this leads to actually reason number one why I think it's important to be selfish as a woman. Reason number one is this so-called selfishness. It allows you set healthy boundaries. Think about it. Like I'm thinking about the women around me. I see them like in work, for example, they already have a lot on their plate, right? They have workload is crazy. And somebody comes along and is like, I need you to do that. Okay, cool, I'll do it. Knowing fully well that they're already drowning. You need to start setting those healthy boundaries. You need to start learning to say no. Because if you can set those boundaries, if you can put your hand up and be like, hello, I'm drowning. Because this is the thing as well, where so many situations I've seen really great friends who they've got heavy workload, and this is not even just work wise, personally as well. They've got a lot on their plate, and people can see that they're struggling and just keep piling on more. Well, I'm telling you now, if you allow people to keep piling more on and you don't stand up and tell them, no, I can't take on that extra work because I already have 1,000 things to do. I would love to help you, but I can't this moment. If you don't start setting those healthy boundaries, you have you to suffer. And if you are suffering and you're depleting your energy, how can you love up on the people around you? How can you pour your energy into those around you? So you want to start setting healthy boundaries and fall into this so-called selfishness and learn to protect your energy, which is reason number two why being selfish is actually important. Being selfish can help you protect your energy. You might be thinking, what do you mean by that? Guys, I don't know about you, but the amount of times I've received invites, typically from family members, to events that I just don't want to go to. And I'm just like, I know I'm not gonna have fun. I'm literally forcing myself to be there to make someone else in my family happy. And I force myself to go. And then what happens at the event? I get really irritated. I get really uncomfortable. But I think the worst part is I start to kind of put myself down like, why did you do that when you didn't want to do it? Why didn't you decline that invite? Why didn't you just outright say, look, I know you want me to come to the event, but I don't want to be there because it's not my crowd. So now I've put myself in a really uncomfortable mood. I'm now telling myself, all right, like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you stand up for yourself? Why can't you say no? Why can't you set the standards you want for yourself? So start to understand that being selfish can actually be advantageous because you know your boundaries. You're able to protect your energy by saying, I don't want to go to that event because I'm not going to enjoy myself. I don't want to go to that event because it's not going to be fun. You learn to protect your energy that way. Or even simply, it might not even be that it's not going to be fun. Simply just by knowing, well, I'm an introvert. And if I go to that event, it's going to deplete my energy. And if my energy is depleted, I'm not going to have energy to talk to my partner. I'm not going to have energy to spend time with my kids. I'm not going to have energy to talk to the people I actually want to talk to. So being selfish can actually be helpful and important to those around you because you are learning to protect your energy. Reason number three why being selfish is important is that you get to accomplish your goals. Oh my God, I know. Honestly, it's shocking to say, but the amount of people, the amount of women I've spoken to who have a passion, a project, a desire that they want to go for. They have a job they've been thinking about, they have a career they would like to start, but they're like, oh, I can't do it because it's going to impact my husband's routine. It's going to impact my husband's job. It's going to impact my I don't know, I'm just thinking of all the excuses I've heard, and I see these women not going for it because they feel like, oh, it's going I'm getting distracted. Guys, I can see like a fox in the garden and I got so distracted by it. Anyways, um completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, being selfish, guess what? You may actually be able to accomplish your dream. Keeping it short, just wanted to say that I have spoken to quite a few women who have. I actually spoke to a potential client the other day, and she has a desire of leaving her 9 to 5 and starting a completely different career. And I said to her, "Well, what's stopping you?" She's like, "Oh, well, stability, my husband's job, my kids are just about to go off to uni. I have to be there for them." And I'm just like, "Come on, like." At what point are you going to put yourself first? Like there always seems to be a reason when it comes to women. There always seems to be a reason why they cannot put themselves first. And the reason typically tends to be, I have to prioritize other people. And I said this as a kind, I'm like, how can you be there for others when you're not being there for yourself? How can you be the positive light that people expect women to be in the life of those around them? How can you be that positive light if you're not protecting your energy, if you're not going for what you want, if you're not achieving your dreams, if you're not even daring to achieve your dreams? How can you be that positive light for people around you if you can't do that? So if you've been telling yourself being selfish is not good, maybe you want to incorporate a bit of selfishness into that. And guys, I am saying this as kind of like a title to attract people, because really a lot of this is not actual selfishness. A lot of this is just prioritizing yourself. It's actually putting yourself first. That is what is called selfishness when it comes to women. We are led to believe that daring to go for what we desire, daring to invest in ourselves, daring to prioritize ourselves is like taboo, and you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, you should. Maybe you should be doing more of that, honestly. And this leads to reason number one why being selfish is actually important. Guess what? If you're achieving your dreams, if you're able to go for that passion project you've been dreaming about, you're going to be more content. You're going to be happier. You're going to be that positive light for your family, right? And who's going to benefit from that? Those around you. You're going to be able to inspire those around you. You're going to, people around you, be it your kids, be it your friends, they're going to see like, wow, she went for that career she wanted to build and she got it. I can do it too. Maybe I can do it too. So that so-called selfishness, where you took the time to invest in yourself and go for the dream you wanted, that's going to have a ripple effect. I guarantee you it's going to have a ripple effect, and it's going to inspire your immediate circle. And it's just going to create a bunch of happier people, more content people. So maybe now's the time to think about investing in yourself and stop thinking about it as being selfish. And this leads to the final point, which I actually have to look at my note because I forgot what the final point is. Bear with me, guys. um, it means being selfish is important for you and those around you because you get to have quality time to yourself. Like, guys, I'm an introvert, so I struggle to understand people who do not carve out time for themselves. Like, I would crumble mentally, emotionally, you name it. My well-being will severely suffer if I do not carve out time to myself. I want to even say daily. I was going to say weekly, but I now understand it's so crucial. I do my 1 hour morning devotion every morning for people who don't know, where I meditate, I read a book, and I journal. And I do this every morning without fail for an hour. And for me, this is me time. And I know I need that. It might feel selfish to people, but I need to have my me time so I can have my energy, so I can connect to myself. This is how I can be my higher version of myself. And being my higher version, like I said, will create that ripple effect to those around you. If you're in a good mood, people want to be around you anyway. If you're in a bit good mood, you have more positivity around you to be able to pour that into other people, to be able to be supportive of other people, to be able to look after those around you, right? So you have to understand that being selfish is important because it can help you. Maybe people are not like me. Maybe they think, well, I don't need time for myself. But I think that's crucial. I think being able to carve out time for yourself is crucial. And sometimes you have to be selfish to do that. And sometimes you don't necessarily have to, right? Because me, for example, I know now that me time is crucial. So I do that also because I'm a morning person, but I started waking up extra early so I can ensure I have that 1 hour uninterrupted time to myself and not feel guilty about it and not feel like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. I ensure that's like my non-negotiable every day. But if you aren't able to wake up extra early to give yourself 1 hour time to yourself, then perhaps you need to tap into that selfishness because that's so important. Me time for me is being able to connect to myself. It's spiritual for me. It's being able to tap into my consciousness and being able to remind myself I'm beyond my physical, which I feel like a lot of people, they don't even have time to breathe. A lot of women, they don't even have time to breathe, let alone sit and reflect, let alone ask themselves, what more do I want from life? Am I happy with my life? Like a lot of women don't even have time to stop and reflect. They don't have time. They're so busy doing everything for everyone. They don't stop and say, am I happy? Do I want more from life? Is this the expectation I have for myself? Is this the standard I want for myself? Is this the person I want around me? Is this the relationship I want? And if the answer to these questions are no, what can I do about it? How can I get myself to a space where I am content, where I am happy, where I am in the job I want, where I am in the relationship what I want, where I am in the life I want? What can I do? What steps can I take to get there? A lot of women don't even have time for this because they haven't created that time to be able to do this. And if you're that woman and that sounds like you, please take this as the sign to tap into selfishness and create that time for yourself, because it's actually very important for you to invest in yourself, invest in your dreams, and invest in your aspirations, because again, ripple effect is this same people who you're thinking you have to prioritize. These same people, by that I mean your partner, yes, your children if you have kids, yes, your parents. These same people who you're feeling like, I'm letting them down by not being there for them, I feel you're also letting them down by not being there for yourself. Like, you can only be the highest version, the best version, the most amazing version of yourself if you are in tune with yourself, if you're in tune with your emotions, if you're in tune with your intuition, if you are in tune with your desires, if you are in tune with what you want from life, what you don't want from life, if you're in tune with being able to set healthy boundaries, if you're in tune with prioritizing your well being, that's when you're the highest version of yourself. And when you are that version, everyone's going to benefit from that version of you. So why don't you start to cultivate activities which I actually see as self-care, as long as it's not self-indulgence? Because guys, don't fall into the hype of this so-called self-care where people are just trying to force you to spend money on things you don't need. But I mean genuine self-care, aka looking after yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially, however that looks to you. If you start to cultivate time for that and be quote unquote selfish, then you're going to be the highest version of yourself. And guess what? Everyone around you benefits from the ripple effect of you showing up as the highest version of yourself every day. So that's it for me, guys. Did you see that pause? I was like, how do I end the episode? Do you know what? Now that I'm doing YouTube, Apple, Spotify, I'm like, how do I end it? I'm just going to say, regardless of what platform you're on, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe/follow, however you're listening, and I will catch you in the next episode.